What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and no, it's not a drill. What you just saw was the first icon that I used for, actually, was the first icon? Yeah, the first icon I used for my channel when I was originally known as WodaiXtreme. But now, here I am, 15 years later, as Harpie Player Joe. What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and it's time to celebrate the last 15 years of my channel. For many of you who don't know, I initially started this channel back in 2010. I was a starving college student about 15 years ago who I was on YouTube. I was enjoying all this content, and I said, well, why don't I make a channel so I can keep all my videos together? A year later, in me experiencing the aspects of life, I decided to want to become a content creator. From there, over a couple of years of not being able to make content like I wanted, I had came back, and I've been back ever since. With every blood, sweat, tears, block, unblock, reblock, and a lineup of things that anyone who has been a content creator experienced, I have experienced. Initially, when I started my channel, I went under the name of WodaiXtreme. That was because I had a fascination for Challenge Showdown. I have a fascination for elements, which was initially the basis of the channel's name. So, after calling myself that for teenage years and teenage antics, I started my channel behind that name. So, what did WX wanted from YouTube? What was my goals from YouTube? I wanted to be a content creator for Yu-Gi-Oh! Who invested in helping his fellow Harpie players who did not have someone to help guide them with deck profiles, deck lists, and hold conversations about being a content creator on YouTube. It was my escape, if you will, to getting away from things that I was going through at that time. During 2011, at the time I started making my first wave of content. My first wave of content was literally thanks to some friends I had at the time, with iPhones and their laptops at hand. I decided to start making content. I made my first official deck profile was for Fortune Lady, which I called Necro Lady because I was using Fortune Lady engine with the engine of a lot of heavy and amazing dark monsters like Necroface, and I took that deck to a couple of regionals that I was in, as well as my Harpies. Which, funny enough, my first regional event was actually Harpie itself. From there, I did a couple of videos. I even did some content for some decks that I was building at the time. Then, unfortunately, the phone that I was using, which belonged to my brother, it lost its sound. And unfortunately, as many of you know, you can record video, but if there's no sound, excuse me, what can you do? So, at that period of time, I stopped making content, and I just experienced things at a different level. I wish I had the books and stuff from back then, because I definitely would have loved to showcase a lot of my older decks, a lot of my older ideas. I even had decks on video games at the time I was playing that I would have loved to show you guys as well. From there, I went into 2014, where I got my first Android smartphone. I was very excited about it, and I was like, I was just on top of the world. And I asked myself, well, why don't you connect with your YouTube channel? And I did. And I began saying, well, why don't I start uploading content, making my own content? And from there on, that's what really made me go back. I had a ton of decks at the time, and I was really going through the flow of motion. So from there on, WodaiXtreme made his comeback. And then I remember asking myself, at I think it was either my 7th or 8th anniversary, what is up with your name? Because most people are not um, pronouncing it correctly, no matter how many times I would pronounce it correctly. And I think the biggest reason I changed my name at that period of time was because one of my favorite content creators, who I still follow now, some call me Johnny, didn't pronounce my name correctly. And I was very embarrassed because it wasn't how I wanted my name to properly be said. So I didn't yell, I didn't scream or anything. I said, okay, I think it's time to change my name. So after a couple of months, well, around that time, I think it was my 6th or 7th anniversary of my channel, and I decided it's time to change the name. What do you want to be named for? And at that point, I said, well, why don't I call myself Harpie Joe? And which is, two things. Joe being my name, and Harpie being my favorite archetype in deck of Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially at that point in time, because remember, Harpies had got that massive wave of things during 2013, 2014, and 2015, because we had a small break of things as well. So I said, okay, I'll call myself Harpie Joe. So I changed my name and everything, and it went from WodaiXtreme to Harpie Joe. But when I wrote out the logos and stuff, this is when I started using different things. My friends were like, well, what's the P for? And I said, well, Harpie. And they were like, well, isn't Harpie Lady HL? I said, yeah. But I don't want to conform to different spellings. So they were like, and I remember Andy was the one that said, well, why don't you give a meaning to the letter P instead of it just being there? And I think it was a year later, and I had decided, it was a couple of days after, and I said, you know what, Andy's right. Because I can't just leave a letter there, it wouldn't make any sense, and even trying to explain it, I had decided to change it. So that's when I changed my name to Harpie Player Joe. And I've been known as Harpie Player Joe ever since then, or HPJ for short. And it's basically just been the name that I follow through with now. I enjoy it. I'm not changing it for the world. And ever since then, that's just how I've been. It's been a very long struggle, I'm not gonna lie. 15 years has definitely been dragged me through the physical, the mental, and the emotional. I went through being a content creator for both YouTube and Twitch. Then I went solo for YouTube. Then when Twitch became accessible, I started doing Twitch stuff. As many of you know, I left Twitch a few years back due to kind of some of the similar issues that I have now. If I had known what I know now back then, I would have done things a lot different. I've even had some people tell me that my content was a little shallow and stuff like that, which I think is only because I never had anyone to guide me in the direction like I would have. And even later on, trying to find a medium for it and, looking through other people's advices, I think, honestly and truthfully, I didn't want that advice anymore because it wasn't going to point me in any other directions that I wanted to take myself initially. And I don't think a lot of people really understood what initially I wanted out of my plans or my ideas. Sitting down, really thinking about it, putting it on paper, and executing it later on became my focus. And is honestly going to be the focus of my channel moving forward. I want to create content that I like, and even if other people don't like it, at least I know that I like it. You know, if someone who wanted to come up to me and say, "Hey, how do you get started? What do I do?" I would have honestly and truthfully told them these things. One, love you no matter what, because that's what's going to keep you going. Because being a content creator, it's very emotional. You're going to have a lot of downs, you're going to have a lot of ups. But as long as you embrace you and you are ready for whatever comes your way, stay to it. Number two, please have a job. Please make sure you have some type of income so that when you get started on this thing, you have something to fall back on, because sometimes YouTube doesn't work out for everybody. I've seen many of the greats come, I've seen many of the greats leave. And many of them were always advising people who came to their chats, if you're going to start this thing, please make sure you have a backup plan, because there's always something that you need to have. The other thing that I will advise people is, if you're going to create a content, find content that you like. Not because someone else is doing it, but because you like it. I like Harpies. I create Harpie content. I play Yu-Gi-Oh! I make Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profiles. I make discussion videos on Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. I might not do it on every Yu-Gi-Oh! card, because Jesus, that's a lot of work. But I do it on things that I like from the game. The other thing, if you're going to be a streamer, stream the stuff that you like. Put the effort into it and put the energy into it. If you don't have the energy into it, that's perfectly fine. But at least make sure you find something that you like and you embrace it and you love it for whatever it brings to you. Once you do that, trust me and believe me when I tell you, you'll be fine. Now, I may not have the numbers to show it, but that's okay. Everything else, trust me, I've heard this from other people, and that's what kept me motivated, because you guys keep me motivated. And that's why I've been here trying to keep things together, because thanks to many of you, that's what keeps me going, is the positive vibes and the positive energy from many of you about me, making the content that I make. Because, like I said earlier, I initially made my channel because I wanted to support other Harpie players, and it grew from supporting other Harpie players to just making decks that archetypes that I love. I did a lot of content on this channel, and you definitely can see it because I never let it go. When it came to live streaming, I made an archive channel. There's still actually live streams on my channel right now that I have not moved over to the archive channel. And one of my big things for this year is moving a lot of that content over. So if you want to see me when it comes to live streaming, older content and stuff like that, I definitely want you to go check that out. Because I did a lot. I did some of my favorite. I did a lot of my favorite games. I did Yu-Gi-Oh! I did various Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. I did Pokemon. I did a lot of Pokemon. I did Crash. I did Spyro. I did Tide of Tasmanian Tiger. Thank you, Steam. And then also thank you, thank you, emulators. Because that was one of the big reasons why I embraced my creation of my content creation, was that I wanted to bring different aspects of my life to those who are around me. And I made content, when I made my content on Twitch, when I made my content on YouTube, that was the whole reason. I wish I never did all of it on my main channel, and that I broke it between my two channels. Or at that point in time, I made a second channel. If I made a second channel a couple of years ago, then I would have been fine. I could make content, upload, move the new content over to the second channel, excuse me, and it'd be good. And that's another thing that I also want to bring. If you're going to make content and you're going to live stream, get you an archive channel. It will save you so much trouble. You have your main channel for things you want to discuss. You have your archive channel for all the live streams that you do. Then you're good. So keep those things in mind. Keep a level head. Know what you want to create. Get the equipment. Have backup plans. And always make sure that you have an account ready to separate your long videos from your shorts. And in terms, just live streams here, long channels there. Especially if you want to, live stream major gameplay and stuff. And if you don't want to have an editor, if you have the money, go get you an editor. If you don't have the money to get you an editor, take some classes or look some stuff up on YouTube, or do like I do and just, make small things. Make little things. Make part twos if you want to. Get that ad revenue, because someone definitely needs it. But like I said, I enjoy what I enjoy. I embrace what I embrace. And it keeps me going forward. What are my future plans? Well, making it to 20 years is the next milestone. Even though I don't have a YouTube plaque, I don't have 1,000 subscribers and all of that, I at least want to know that I'm still doing my best. I do it for me. And if anything, the people that I inspire with my content love it. There are some ideas that I did want to talk about as well while I have the chance. Since most of the ideas that I've done on the channel have gone downhill, for instance, I used to do Puzzles and Dragons on the channel. People didn't really sway to it. So I did that as a live stream. The live streams are still up, actually. So I kind of just kept that together. Then there was, what was it attached to it? Digimon, and I just did a video talking about Digimon. And unfortunately that didn't fall through like I would like it to. So I moved away from Digimon. And then I decided, alright, well, I can move away and then go to, just go back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, if I do want to record some things, I still have my archive channel. And I think my archive channel is basically going to be where I dump a lot of my freebies or a lot of the bigger videos and stuff. If I want to just say, hey, look, I'm playing this game. Why don't I record this little bit of an adventure? Or why don't I record me capturing this Pokemon or playing this Digimon or stuff like that? And I think that's kind of where it's going to be for that. But the future holds a lot of things, and I don't know what things are going to be held, so I'm going to keep my head up and, just go with the wave. Will I ask people if they like these things or not? Sometimes. But I think at a point I have to stop asking for acceptance and just enjoy what I put, out there. And look, if I gotta go through 5 or 10 different re-recordings of that content, it is what it is. But as long as at the end of the day I say this is what I like and I press that upload button, that's all that matters. And just keep going with a smile on my face. So with that in tow, thank you guys for watching this 20-minute video of me going over the last 15 years of my content creation. I thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate you. And I'll keep you posted on any content coming your way. Thanks everybody. Much love. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Socials are in the description box below. And if anything, previous content, if you want to see it, go right ahead. The video and the playlist are right there. With that said, thanks everyone for these last 15 years. I really appreciate it. HPJ, signing out. Take care.